been away in my homeland of Washington, which is sort of just North Oregon. Or I guess Oregon is South Washington, depending on where you're from, but you know. I went up to Washington, I did a show in Seattle, and I had to explain to them that I was coming up from Salem. So I tried to explain what Salem was. It was like, Salem is sort of like if you took a car from Portland to Eugene, and you ran out of gas halfway through the journey. And then you went, fuck it, let's set up a government around here. This looks like it's in need of something like that. People could use it. No, it's good to be back in school. It's good to be, it keeps my mind stimulated and, you know, stops me from being sober. So it's good to be back in school. I'm really excited. People don't stay sober at university. It's not a thing that happens. I mean, I don't drink or smoke, but it looks like a lot of fun, which gives me a bit of a high. So, you know, I'm getting a secondhand high just from watching. That's good. I think, like, what's so weird about it, too, is I feel very out of place. Like, not smoking or drinking makes you, like, Pacific Northwest weird, you know? I'm like a unicorn in the desert. People are like, he's gonna die of thirst or boredom at some point. I don't know which first, but it's gonna be one of those two. It's kind of like in medieval times, you had to drink alcohol because the water was poisonous. And in Salem, it's not changed much. Every so often, water decides to fight back. I remember when the water crisis was happening here, it was like they had a sign outside McDonald's that said, "We have bottled water." And that was how I knew for sure it was a crisis, like something was really wrong. Because that means that everybody gathered around the state building and someone was like, "The people in here aren't helping us. Let's go to Ronald McDonald. He'll know what to do. Quick! Ronald, can you help us?" "Yes, my children. Bottled water and McFlurries for everyone. McHydration. Ha ha ha." Yes. Ronald McDonald, the benevolent God, indeed. So, it's good to be back at university. I'm glad to be back in class. I'm studying psychology. I can feel you all judging me. It's fine, studying psychology. It's fun, it's really pointless, which is a good thing in my book. Because, like, scientific thought, the whole goal of it, you know, chemistry and biology, the goal is to, like, find the purpose of the universe. And the goal of philosophical thought is to not end up unemployed. And I'm really into that. How do I not? It's weird because you find two very different people in philosophy classes. You find the people who think the way you become good at thinking is you wear a really high turtleneck and you drink as much coffee as possible. And then you find people who think if you just ask enough pointless, unanswerable questions, somehow it'll all start to make sense. And it turns out neither of them are right. And most philosophy professors are really aware of that. Like when you're sitting in philosophy class, they don't go, "And then Plato said," write something on the board. They go, "Yeah, my job's tough. I shouldn't have gotten a philosophy degree." Like, you're sitting there, you're like, "Dude, I'm majoring in this. Like, you can't tell me this stuff. Like, you're not gonna make me leave this class." A little strange. I mean, I think it's a bit weird, too, because being sedentary and back in college, like, when I was out for break, I traveled. I went on a plane, and I always forget about planes. I just forget about them right away, which I shouldn't. I'm 6'4". Like, planes are very present in my nightmares. Like, they're always there, hanging out, you know? I get on a plane, and always the person in front of me goes, "I can pull my seat back." And the way my knees are set up, right, that doesn't work. You try and pull your seat back, it's contacting me. You're not going anywhere, right? But I had somebody on the plane ride in front of me, right? They try and pull their seat back, just crushing my bones. Like, that's the sound that it was making, just... That's all you could hear, right? Trying to pull their seat back, and they turn around to look at me. They do a little, like, and their head is just the most, it's like a bobblehead human, just kind of, "Whoa, what's going on?" "So what I was expecting, my seat should be going back, and reclining should be achieved." And they look back at me, and they stare at me for about 1 second, and I don't know what to say, because I don't want to be like, "I'm tall, sorry." But I gotta say something, I gotta do something, so I just sort of wave, and he goes, "Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there." I was like, "Oh my God, I've gotten so skinny that I'm fucking see-through. I'm invisible, I can do anything." He just looked through my ribcage and he was like, "Nothing there." Stared straight through me. I encountered something beautiful recently. It there's something a lot like Netflix. So, you know how Netflix has a bunch of different options for a bunch of different people? Well, I encountered something called PureFlix, which has no options for nobody, and aims to appease an audience of no one. PureFlix is basically what happened when a bunch of Mormons got together and decided that the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina was a little too satanic. But they still wanted Netflix a lot, and so they invented PureFlix, and they have such hits as A Man Named John Trailer, which I can just tell by your blank faces is the best movie of the summer already, and it hasn't even come out yet. That's delightful. Because really, the problem I find when I was looking at colleges is I looked at BYU and I was like, there just isn't going to be any Netflix content for me there. But with PureFlix, my worries are gone. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great night.
Keep it going for the disembodied voice that's been talking for 5 minutes. Did you see anybody? I didn't. Ooh. Call back. Give it up for Owen Lyon-Smith one more time, ladies and gentlemen.